Welcome. This is Macroeconomics 1 course, and then it's the third chapter of the course, which is about business cycle and then economic performance. In the last two chapters, we have discussed the macroeconomics theories and concepts, and then the second chapter we have tried to look at the measuring national income, and then now we are going to discuss the third chapter, which is about business cycle and its performance. As general, in this chapter, we'll look at four subsections, and then the first section is basic concept and definition of business cycle, and the second is about the phase of business cycle. The third one is about the cause and the effect of business cycle, and the last one, which is about the most theories of business cycle. So we'll discuss all these topics in this chapter. For today, in this video, I am explaining only the first two sections of the chapter, which is about the basic concept of business cycle and introduction. And then, which is the second one is the phase of business cycle. So we'll explain the four basic phases of business cycle. If you have any comment and citation at the end, you can forward, and there's a comment section. That's all for today. So let us start the first topic of the course, which is our basic concept of business cycle and then the introduction section. So let us begin with the introduction section. Economists in the past have always followed some certain periodic changes that occur in level of business activity. The activities passes through many ups and downs. So the ups and downs is measured by the level of GDP, and then the formal analysis of business cycle historically started in the early 20th century. And then it was observed that a period of expansion and contraction in an economy occurs in a regular manner in the early periods. So expansion and contraction, when we say it is the different cycles in the business or economic movement. So we'll discuss them later in section 2 of this chapter. So the characteristics of these periods are explained by different famous economists in the past. So for instance, by Wesley Mitchell, Simon Kuznets, Mills, and other economists, including the Keynesian modelists as well. So they explain the concepts of business cycle in different ways. And then, however, interest in business cycle declined after the publication of Keynes' general theory, which turned attention from business cycle to short-run management of the economy. So Keynes is a famous economist, especially in the macroeconomics field. So, but the inability of the Keynesian model to explain stagflation lead to renewed interest in alternative theories of business cycle, such as monetarism, which is led by Milton Friedman, and also the development of real business cycle theory. So we explained this all sections, all theories in chapter 4. For now, let us lead to the section 1 of this chapter, which is about definition and basic concept of business cycle. So we'll start with the introduction part. So business cycle is a cycle of fluctuation, that means ups and downs in the economic growth of a country around its a long-term natural growth rate. So it explains a movement by economic activity that a given economy experiences over a period of time. So we explain fluctuation in the business cycle and the aggregate economic activity of for a given nation. And then in last time in chapter 2, we discussed measuring national income, and we have seen that GDP is
an aggregate output of a nation over a period of time, particularly a year or an accounting period. So in this section, we will just explain growth over a period of time. That I mean, it may be 3 years, 6 years, 10, 100, and so on. So we'll see the cyclical movement of the whole economy or the status of GDP in a given period of time. So in this case, GDP or I mean the national income fluctuates over time, and then these fluctuations are maybe caused by level of employment, productivity, or total income, or I mean aggregate demand of for and supply of nations for a good and service. So these fluctuations are best explained by the business cycle or what they call economic cycle. It shows nations' real GDP fluctuates over a time, or how nations' real GDP fluctuates over time, going through business as total aggregate output increases and decreases. So the change in economic activity that characterizes a business cycle of a given country have an important implication for the welfare of the population as general, and then its institution and other sectors, including the private sector. So this is how we can explain the concept of business cycle. So in short, it is a cyclical fluctuation or ups and downs in the economic growth of a given country for a long period of time. So at given natural growth rate. So this is what a business cycle means. And then the next we will see the phase of business cycle. We said business cycle diversities up and down or raises and valleys in output over a given period of time. Yeah, that's what we have discussed. And then each business cycle or each economic cycle has 4 phases. So as you look from the diagram, these 4 phases are expansion, recession, depression, and recovery. So we'll try to explain all, but these stages are measured in terms of aggregate output. We look at the total output of the given country, or I mean GDP actually. So some countries, or if the data is available, you can use a real GDP, but in most cases nominal data are available in the data bank of or just for World Bank, IMF, and other international monetary organizations. So let us explain detailed description of each business cycle. The first stage is the expansion stage, or what we call the economic expansion, and then uh, it has a general positive economic indicator such as employment, income, output, wage, demand and supply of code. So this economic indicators tend to show a sustained uptrend throughout this stage, throughout this economic expansion. So in this stage, economy experiences relatively rapid and high growth, and also production tends to increase as well, and there is a wealthy flow of money in the market, and then also the cost of money is cheap, but this may tend to lead to inflation. We'll look further later the cause and effect of economic fluctuations, but in this stage there is a wealthy movement of money, and then the cost of money is also cheap. Therefore, there is an upswing cycle toward a peak and then peak, and it is what we call economic expansion. In short, this expansion in the economy is associated with increase in production, increase in unemployment, I mean decrease in unemployment, increase in wage, increase in consumption, and then increase in other economic and other macroeconomic variables. So this is the expansion or the first stage of business or economic cycle. And the second stage is called contraction or recession. So it is the downward or downswing of business cycle toward trough. So trough will look later. Trough is the negative saturation point for economy. In the expansion phase, The expansion is we say this is the upward or a positive movement towards the peak, and the peak is the maximum attainable possible economic point that is achieved. So, recession or contraction occurs when there is a low economic growth in low, or very lowly, and the employment falls as well, and then price stagnates. So there is shrinking in the economic activity. As demand decreases, business or firms may not immediately adjust production levels, and then this may lead to oversaturated market with surplus of supply and downward movement in the price. Thus, in a recession phase, all positive economic indicators that we have mentioned in stage one may will just become they will fall. So they consequently fall, and then the contraction continuously goes until the some stage which is called what we have said trough. So the contraction continues. The recessionary economic condition will lead to depression, and then the third stage of economy. So if the contraction if the contraction continues, it leads to depression. So it is a depression, which is the third stage of business cycle or economic cycle. It is very severe recession, and then in this stage there is a large contraction in the economy, and then the unemployment rate is likely to be at very high level, and then we can say it is a painful moment for the economy with a widespread negative impact from stagnating spendings and income. So in the diagram, the straight line in the middle is the steady cross rate that you are looking from the screen. So it is adjustment toward smooth or gradual or regular way of movement, or that's a balanced growth rate in the economy. So I'm talking about the straight line in the middle of the cycle. So the growth in the economy continues to decline, and then as this stage varies below the steady cross line, the stage is called depression. So depression starts from the below when the economy declines below the steady cross line. So in this stage, the economic growth rate becomes negative, and then this negative is called trough. And then as a stage economic exhibits negative abstraction, or it exhibits this negative saturation point. So it is the bottom. So trough is the bottom part or point of the cycle, which is opposite to peak, which we say the top point of the cycle in a given cycle. So this low point provides an opportunity for individuals and then business to recognize their just finances, or to reconfigure their finances in anticipation of a recovery stage. So after that, after trough stage, which is the bottom point of the cycle, there will be also an opportunity, and then it will tend to what's called recovery, the final stage of the economic cycle. So after trough, the economy moves to the stage of recovery. In this phase, there is a turnaround in the economy. So that means the economy begins to recover from the negative growth rate, and then it is when the economy hits its trap, bottoms out, and then again it begins the cycle as a new. So we'll have a new expansion, and this is called recovery. So it may be because of policies enacted during the contraction phase begin to bear fruit, and then this stage business that retrenched during the contraction phase will begin to ramp up again, and then stock values tend to raise, and then production rates up to meet rising consumer demand, and then with it business expansion, employment, income, and GDP plumes up again. So students, this is what we have for today. What we have decided today. So in the next time we will try to discuss more about the cause and the effect of business cycle, which is the third subtopic in this chapter, and then we'll also try the last one, which is theories of business cycle. So if you have any question and then comment, please try to put it in on the comment section. For today is over. Goodbye.